Fighters, today on the show, I'm interviewing Rilee Fisher from JobTread. JobTread is one of our fight partners. They're also a amazing sponsor of the Mile High Profit Summit. And today, Rilee and I talk about job costing. I know, it's sexy, right? Anyway, SOPs, how to be more efficient, how to leave a paper trail. All right. When you use a tool like JobTread. So listen, hit the show notes and check out the links there. Book a demo with Rilee and the team over at JobTread. I promise you this is a tool that will help you to be more profitable in your business if you use the tool. And anyway, without further ado, here is my interview with Rilee Fisher. Rilee, my man, welcome to the fight.
I appreciate it.
How you doing?
Not too bad. JobTread's keeping me busy. As I mentioned, I just had my second daughter, so certainly busy at home and at work. So,
I had another call like this today, another interview, and that person also has a couple little ones running around at home and getting used to that. And so right now, your wife and yourself are in man-to-man defense because you got two.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Everyone after this, you got to go to zone, man.
Everyone's been telling me that. My mother-in-law especially keeps telling me you only got two hands. So, zone, it'll be challenging.
Well, that's good stuff. So 2 daughters. And how old's the first one? 3?
She's turning 2 this month. And the other one was born last month. So brand new, fresh out of the oven. So, yeah.
There you go, man. Well, congrats. That's good.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, who the hell are you and what do you do?
I'm Rilee Fisher. I work for JobTread. I'm the director of business development here at JobTread. So I'm heavily a part of the sales team. I've been here since the very beginning, since the very first Mile High Profit Summit. I actually got hired I think the month of or the month before the first Mile High in 2021. Yeah. That was our first real conference. We had a tremendous amount of success at, and it's kind of been here since then, slowly trying to capture as many, contractor fight members as possible.
That's awesome, man. So for people that have never heard of JobTread, don't know what it is, why don't you fill us in?
I think the standard answer is like project management software, CRM, right? And you kind of give the standard definition. The thing I would say is that the problem we're trying to solve is helping you do the things you already do now, just much faster in a much more streamlined fashion. So, every contractor has to create estimates. They have to get those out the door as efficiently as possible without sacrificing accuracy. It's the most common bottleneck you run into as a contractor. And I think JobTread really helps mitigate that whole process. It's so much easier to do. It's so much faster. And then, the thing you've always kind of yelled at your audience, for lack of a better term, is, know your numbers and set yourself up for success when you start estimating. And JobTread really helps enable that. I think it's pretty hard for you to not understand how much money you're making when you're using JobTread or not making.
So what are some when somebody comes to you guys, what stage of business are they normally in for your new clients when you guys onboard them?
It continues to evolve. So really early on, it was a lot of really early contractors that were for the first time ever really stepping into establishing processes. Now it's a strong mix of that and very established contractors and everything in between. JobTread's a very scalable program. So we have people that, got their GC license last week and they've known about us and they move forward with us because they want to get started on the right foot. Yeah. And then we have people that come from other software solutions that they've grown tired of and they're well established and they make that transition to JobTread. So it's certainly a decent spectrum of contractors that use JobTread.
Yeah, I have a higher level sales training group called Platoon here in the contractor fight. And one of our members today on our coaching call was sharing how he just switched over to you guys and he's in the heavy lifting phase where he's getting everything set up. And
really, who is that?
Jim D'Altroy.
Jim Bieltrick, you said?
D'Altroy. He's up in Canada.
Yeah. Okay, I have to look him up.
He's a good guy, but I said, how are things going? He says, it's anytime you're implementing a new thing, right? You got, there's number one, the learning curve, but then you got to transfer all your data and get your template set up and all that. So that's the phase he's in now. But he was like, I'm in the heavy lifting phase, but I know this is going to totally streamline us. He's using, one of your competitors for a while, and
you can't say their name out loud,
No, I can't. And, but he's excited, and I have no doubt that he's going to be way more efficient. Because honestly, that's one of the biggest issues on our calls with him is how long it's fucking taking him to get shit put out, And and you guys have, I don't know what you call it inside, but I call it templates. Like you do a bathroom, you don't have to recreate it every time, right?
No, it's I think there's a lot of misconceptions about the residential construction industry, and one of the most common things I hear from a contractor I speak with is every job's unique. Every job I do is so different. I can't remotely begin to somewhat templatize it. And I go, well, the reality is you're probably actually doing the same thing over and over again. There's just the fixtures, there's the square footages, there's those things that change, but it's the same process over and over again. So there's no need to recreate things every single time. Yeah.
So one of the things I wanted to touch on a little bit, I mean, I know you got the estimating features and the job costing, and it helps people get things out quicker because time kills deals, helps us sell quicker and more accurate, track the numbers. One of the things in the notes in preparing for this that you had typed in was SOPs. And I'm curious if you could expand on that a little bit, what you meant by that.
So, standard operating procedures. I think it's just having a formalized approach to how you do everything, For as long as I've known the contractor fight, there's a lot of things you guys echo that I think JobTread has implemented. And that's knowing your numbers. That's having a way of doing things. That's having, a process in place that is trainable to the next person so that you can kind of be a little more hands off, right? JobTread allows you to do all that by having standardized templates, allows you to have data in place for reference for other people, allows for easy communication when you have questions as a team. So the background I have, and going on a tangent for half a second, is that I came from a rather large residential contractor. There's quite a few salespeople, and we used to quote jobs on site, and I would quote outdoor living projects that were $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 within an hour and a half on site. Show up, full design, full scope, everything, hour and a half. And we used a spreadsheet straight from hell. It was 50 tabs, 150 items on each one. It was an absolute nightmare, but it was standardized. It was relatively dummy proof. It was just hard to navigate. And when I was, potentially looking for a new job opportunity, I came across JobTread software and ended up speaking with Eric, and I signed up for the program myself just to get a look at it. And I immediately fell in love with how much they made that numbers process so much easier, how much easier it is to kind of put together a number and standardize it. So, kind of going back to your question, the whole point is JobTread allows you to standardize, allows you to establish the processes and put those in place so that it's much easier to learn for new team members that you're on board, or just for yourself, or to scale, or whatever, save you time as well.
Yeah, you want to scale, you got to have people and processes, right? Those are the two foundational things. And I think a lot of people, when they hear SOPs, standardization and stuff, they get intimidated by it, right? Because, let's face it, most of the people listening to the show here, they're comfortable around the tools on job sites, but any of that back office shit, probably 5% of the people listening to this are cool with that, right? Just out of the gate. But I'm one of them, right? But here's the thing, if you're a contractor, you already have some standards in place and SOPs in place, whether you talk about them or document them or not. I mean, you do things in a certain order, and that's what you're talking about here. There's a certain sequence to running a project and using, the tool that you have here, JobTread. It's like you got to put the foundation first, then you frame the house, and so on. And so this is just a different way of building the house, if you want to call it that.
It's you're 100% right. There's the building, there's the construction. As you kind of pointed out, a lot of people that are contractors that turn into business owners are craftsmen first, and they're masters at it oftentimes. But then they kind of throw the business side to kind of the wayside to put less focus on it. But ultimately, you're still building the house. You're just doing it from the back end perspective. You have to make sure you're securing money on that. And the joke and kind of analogy I'll often give is that if you were a W-2 employee, you would know what your paycheck is every single month or every 2 weeks, whatever it is. You know it down to the penny, and you would raise absolute hell if it was anything different. But then the moment you start a business, the moment you are taking this tremendous risk to provide for yourself and your family in a way that you never have before, is the moment you decide to stop looking at the paycheck. And that's just crazy. That's bonkers to me. So I can really kind of focus on that part.
It reminds me of this guy I had working for me about 25 years ago. He was a Hispanic guy, spoke zero English, worked for me for over 3 years. For 2 years, and 2 years into it, he never spoke any English. There was a discrepancy on his paycheck one day, and he came into the office and he's like, "Hey, my FICA withholding's a little high here." It was perfect English. Like, all of a sudden, he could speak English, man. I was like, and I looked at him like, "What?"
This whole time? Yeah.
He's like, "Life's better when I don't speak English. We're good." So anyway, so how many demos have you done, man?
You know what's funny is, for the first time ever, I looked this up the other day. Me and my other colleague started looking at it. I think the number was quickly approaching or just surpassing 5,400. 5,400 demos with contractors. Yeah. It's a lot.
It's safe to say you kind of know the platform then, right? Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. I tend to be pretty well versed. So
yeah, you do anything over 5,000 times, you're gonna be pretty solid at it. So what kind of roadblocks, hurdles, head trash, anything like that do you see that contractors have about embracing something like this?
I think it's almost always mental. If you're a really established contractor and, you have a bunch of team members, that's one thing. Time is going to be always a factor, and you're going to have to find a way to cut out time in your schedule. That's the bottom line. And there's going to be training. But if you're, especially if you're a smaller contractor, a smaller operation, or relatively new, I think it's primarily mental. The most common, I'm going to use your word, head trash, you'll see is like, I don't have the time. I'm like, the reality is you do. And I think we all know that. It's the same way when someone says they don't have time to go to the gym. No, there's time. You're prioritizing elsewhere,
Yeah.
So for me, when I do my demos, I can't quite be as transparent as I'd like to be, the way it might be with you on a podcast right now. But yeah, it's all not true. Carve out time, spend an extra hour each day, take a look at your numbers, spend the time to learn something, and it pays its dividends so quickly. And people are always afraid of change and, the unknown. And I think sometimes people are afraid to look at their credit card statement right after Christmas. And I think sometimes that could be the hesitation with job costing. They don't want to see maybe the truth or the reality of how they've run the ship into a non-profitable, mountain. So yeah, to me, take a look at the credit card statement after Christmas, understand how much money you spent, and see if you're going to make money.
Yeah. If you're not job costing, man, it's like a football team not watching the game tape. You can't get better. You can't learn where you drop the ball and how you could be more efficient. And I've always said you can make money and lose money, and that's it's never good to lose money, but that's fine. But not knowing why is the real issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not knowing why we won or why we lost is the true issue. So, I've had conversations with Eric. For those who don't know, Eric's the founder of JobTread, and he's shared stories with me of how quickly people are not just keeping track of stuff, creating a paper trail, job costs, but actually making more money because of it. What's going on there?
I have kind of a funny answer, and then the more common answer. The funny answer is that it's pretty common for people to understand the difference between markup and margin. So when someone does, and this, you preach this all the time, right? So what I've seen happen many times is people continue to maintain the same markup that they've always used, but now they do it in JobTread, but they're using the margin calculator effectively, and they don't realize that there's a significant difference there. And I've had, there's several contractors that come to mind where they're like, I've been using JobTread for 6 months. I don't really know what's changed. My estimating hasn't changed. I'm doing the same numbers I've always done, but I'm making so much more money. And they're like, I don't know what the magic is, but I've heard this so many times. It always makes us laugh super hard. And we just go, yeah, just, keep using margin. Right. From a reason as to why people typically make more money when they have an understanding of markup and margin, I think it's just having a true lens to see your money. At the end of the day, it's the same when your personal budget. It's the same when you track calories. You will be more conscious. You will be more aware of the decision you make when you are able to see them. And that's what JobTread allows you to do in real time versus 6 months after the fact, or at the end of the year, or a week after. And instead of waiting until it's too late to pivot or adjust, you can see it in real time, see how much money you're making, see how much money you're not making, and adjust as needed.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people talking about like their oh, what's the word? Oh, I've used a CRM before and it didn't help me. I this and that. And my thing, man, is like JobTread is a tool, just like any tool you use on a job site, and the tool does not make you money and help you save time if you don't use the fucking tool.
100%.
Yeah.
I've given this silly analogy, but like you would never in your right mind show up to a home you're going to remodel with just like a handsaw. Like that would be crazy. They'd be like, wouldn't this be more efficient if you had like a skill saw or a miter saw or something? You're like, well, yeah, but it's like heavy and it's kind of hard to learn, and I need a power cord. I don't know if we just lost internet or not.
So for those that are listening, we had an internet issue and now we're back. So I believe you were talking about not showing up using a handsaw to do a remodel.
Oh,
And you don't want to break
yeah.
the equipment. It's heavy.
It's a bit of a silly example, but just the argument to not use a software tool is the same to me as like just showing up to someone's home with like a hammer, nails, and just like a saw, right? And
Yeah.
you like the homeowner would be like, wouldn't this be more efficient if you just use a skill saw or use a miter saw or something? And you're like, and then the excuse being, well, it's heavy and it's I got to plug it in and have power. And like there's all these like other things you have to do to use it, but ultimately it's so obviously going to pay a tremendous amount of dividends. And that's just kind of how I feel very similar about software and leveraging a tool to run your business.
So what have we not? I know we can't touch on everything JobTread has to offer, right? And listen, you've been, we've been partners here for several years and really appreciate you guys sponsoring Mile High and helping our members and all that stuff. Do kick-ass job. Hear nothing but great things. I literally have never heard a negative thing about not only the product but the support and the team, and how you guys are always evolving, listening to your clients. But what haven't we touched on that you think would be important for somebody here today before we wrap up?
You could go on all day about like features and cool things. I would just say speak to the team. So, Tom, you have such a tremendous following, and that's not because your content is the best in the world. It's not because you have the best of this or the best of that. Like I think you draw the attention of people. People are attracted to the things you say and who you are as a person ultimately. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what happens with JobTread customers. We have, if you go online, we have like 250 5-star reviews, and people just accuse us of saying it's robots and stuff. Yeah. The reality is that, we don't have 250 5-star reviews because, the product is perfect for everybody. But what we deliver is a great experience every time. So we have people that cancel because it's just not a good fit or the timing's not right. But they never have a bad experience. And I think something kind of similar to you is that like maybe, the timing doesn't work for you when you have people, in your audience, and then they come around eventually or something. But ultimately, they have a great experience with you because they believe in who you are and like what you're trying to do. And that's what JobTread really have cultivated. We are intentional in that we only hire people with backgrounds in construction. We hire people that are tremendously passionate. We hire people that really want to improve things and improve the company, improve the people that use it, or improve the people surrounding and using the software as well. So, every decision we make ultimately is about how do we continue to promote JobTread and then help those around helping those use it improve themselves as well. So I think it ultimately comes down to the team.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say it because you won't, but I would guess that 95% or more of the people that say it's not a good fit didn't really commit to using it.
I'll let you say it. So,
yeah. So, well, and I say it about our Battleground program. Yeah. We have people that, they'll drop out after, a few months or whatever. And when we look at the back end of them logging into the training and getting on calls and doing their role plays, there's nothing. In fact, our coaching team, and I'm not saying this to be a dick to everybody, I'm just telling you all the truth, right? Yeah. And some of you guys have been in Battleground and you left, and for whatever reason, it wasn't a good fit. And I appreciate your time in the group, and I have no ill will, but I got to call bullshit sometimes because 95% of the people that leave Battleground, they say, the program wasn't working for me.
Mm-hmm.
literally in the exit interview questions they fill out.
Yeah.
And damn near 100% of the people that say that or check that box that the program's not working for me, we don't know their name. We don't know who they are. They never got on a training. They didn't do anything. All they watched was the intro video to the program and how it works, and then didn't do shit for 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And listen, that's fine. If you're not going to do shit with JobTread or with our stuff, then you shouldn't be in it. You shouldn't use it. You shouldn't pay for it. I get that. Okay. But what irks me is when people say shit doesn't work when they didn't work, when they didn't do their job. And I know you're walking a line here, man. I get it.
Oh, I could flirt with it more than I am, and
I'm a little oddball this way because I just call it the way I see it. Because I'm like, if you don't want to fucking do the work and use the tools that you have, then leave. That's fine. But don't say it doesn't fucking work.
No, it's not uncommon at all for people to cancel, express a similar message, and then we go, well, what is that? And then they don't define it. They're like, well, I didn't see a button immediately. I'm like, well, did you ask anyone to tell you where the button was? And they're like, well, no, it should be where I think it should have been in my head, right? And it's just like, all right, well, I don't know what you want me to tell you there. So, fully agree that there's people buy on emotion. Motivation gets you to the gym, discipline keeps you there, right? And I think a lot of people have a lot of motivation, but don't always possess the discipline. So,
yeah. And for those of you that are not JobTread users, book a demo. Okay. Book a fucking demo. And for those of you that are currently JobTread users and you're not all in using it and integrating this into your company, all right, fix your shit. Okay. Get off your ass and go all in because you're going to make more money. You're going to be more efficient. You're going to have stronger SOPs. Your processes, your systems, other people in the business will be able to handle stuff so shit doesn't run through you all the time. Okay. I mean, that's why this thing exists, to be a tool that is useful to you, but you have to use it. Just like, I remember learning how to paint, and the first time I had to cut in a ceiling line, I was horrible at it. And it would have been really easy to be discouraged and go, I never want to do this again. I'm not going to touch it anymore. All right. But you have to stick with something, to get through that rough patch of integrating it into the way you do things. And when you do with JobTread, 100% of the time on the back end of that, you're going to be more successul. You're going to make more money.
Absolutely.
And that's what I love about you guys. And you're always innovating. A lot of people, and you know who they are, they create something and there's version 1 and 3 years later, there's version 1,
but it's in a new color and that's what matters.
Yeah. So. And, but you guys do a phenomenal job of listening to your partners, your clients, your users. You call them users, right? Users. So users, clients, whatever. But anyway, so dude, if somebody wants to check you guys out, where do you want them to go? What do you got
Just
going
go
on?
to our website, jobtread.com, and click book a demo up in the top right. If you want to, do me the favor and go to jobtread.com/Rilee, that'd be even better. But, either way, I'm good with it. Ultimately, it's about, getting more people into JobTread. I think, at the last conference, it was kind of a cool moment when Eric walked on stage. He had asked the audience, like, how many people in here are JobTread customers? And, I don't think people fully understood. And, half the audience, like, it was like every other person stood up. And that was like, oh, wow. Okay. This is not just, just a tool a few of us are using. There's like several hundred Contractor 5 members that use JobTread, and we certainly more the merrier.
Absolutely, man. And I'm looking at my notes here of an opt-in.
Yes. So we for what we offer is a 30-day money back guarantee. So with JobTread, you can sign up and in those 30 days, we can help train you. We can help import a fair amount of data, and we could really just hold your hand through the process. And if you just find in those 30 days it's just not a good fit, you can get your money back. But if it is a good fit, fantastic. You're halfway implemented, if not more, at that point, and you can continue to use it on a monthly plan that's more palatable for you financially. And at any point, like this is it, and you're like, this is for sure what I want to keep using. You can upgrade and save 20% off on an annual plan. So there's always that option as well.
Well, good stuff, man. This has been good. Well, dude, I appreciate you carving out some time here today. And again, for we actually moved this up in the schedule today, so I appreciate you doing me a solid there. And guys, head to the links that are in the show notes. grab a demo, 5,401, 402, 403 with Rilee, and he'll take good care of you. The team will take good care of you. And dude, I want to thank you guys again for choosing to be part of Mile High and helping put the event on and as a sponsor. And guys, if you haven't gotten your ticket to Mile High, go to milehighprofitsummit.com, get your fucking ticket and get in the room. And you'll also be able to meet the JobTread team. And
hey, Tom, thank you so much, man.
Probably do a demo right there. So Rilee, you rock, man. And appreciate all you guys at JobTread. Have an awesome day. And we'll see you next time on The Fight, man.
Awesome. See you, Tom.